Hey, it's been a while. I'm Tiana, or Tiana, which is with a J, and thanks for coming back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little reflection of what it's been like for me on YouTube for over a year now. I know that I'm definitely not the most consistent YouTuber out there, and I'm sorry for anybody that actually cares or that wish I was. But I want to talk about a little bit about what I've learned and what it's been like having this channel for the last year and a bit. Let me start with why I'm not super consistent, actually. That's probably the biggest thing. If you look throughout my video upload history, you can see that I kind of sporadically upload. And there's a few reasons to that. I like doing this, but I also at the same time don't like this. I know that seems kind of counterintuitive, but I love coming up with different video ideas, and I even have a notebook where I keep track of everything, and I get lots of inspiration from other YouTubers and just other things that perhaps I'd want to share, but it is a lot of work to film these videos. It's a lot more work to edit them and get them uploaded. So it's kind of like with writing a book, actually. You get these ideas, and sometimes it's a lot more exciting and fun to actually plan out the ideas and plan the Pinterest board and find the music playlist you want to use. But then when you have to actually sit down and write the book, it's absolutely miserable. So it's kind of the same thing. I get into my own head a lot in that I don't think my background is always good enough, or, I don't have this studio set up, and especially, you watch certain videos now and they're so well edited, so well filmed, the audio is crystal clear. It can be a little bit intimidating, or, you get a bit of imposter syndrome and you're thinking that, oh, my videos suck, what's the point of this? But, despite that, I have learned a lot in making videos and editing them. I'm so thankful to my good friend Anna New for helping me to learn how to use editing software and really try and make my videos as visually appealing and as well edited as possible. And it's been a big learning process for me. It's also been a big step out of my comfort zone because I'm not someone who likes to share very much. Even on my Instagram, if you've ever been on it, I'm not very active on it. Social media in general, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not somebody who's ever felt the need to post all the time because I don't feel this need or this desire to, constantly tell people where I'm at and what I'm doing. And so that does translate into then making YouTube videos publicly because, it takes a lot of vulnerability to be on camera and talk about things that you care about and that are interesting to you, and leaving yourself open for that criticism. But it's a hurdle that I've managed to overcome, and that I'm actually the next hurdle after that is becoming more consistent and overcoming that. So it is something that has pushed me out of my comfort zone, and for that I do like it in that sense, but it's just finding that balance of sharing things while not feeling like I'm oversharing too much of my own life. But I do want to try and post more often and not go so long between different videos, especially because I do have a lot of ideas. One of the really nice things, especially with my podcast that's on my YouTube channel, is that I really wanted to post about topics, and I wanted to give people a different perspective, or perhaps make people think about certain issues or ideas that they wouldn't have normally thought about. And some of you have left me some really, really amazing comments, and some even really, really long comments, sharing your viewpoints with what I said in the video and asking me further questions. And that has meant so much to me because your response is exactly what I wanted from the podcast. In that I wanted to create conversation, I wanted to get people thinking about things that maybe they hadn't thought about. And so I really, really appreciate those of you that have taken the time to comment on any of my videos, but especially if you've commented on the podcast, sharing your own viewpoints and engaging in this conversation that I wanted to start. It really means so much to me. The fact that almost 700 of you have wanted to subscribe and to watch my content and interact with it is so crazy, because if all of you were shoved in a room right now and I had to talk in front of you, it would definitely be even more nerve-wracking than it is just being on camera. So it's just very cool and crazy to think that so many of you actually want to be a part of this journey with me. And so for that, I'm also sorry, because I'm not the most consistent YouTuber, because I know that I like it myself when my favorite YouTubers do post consistently and have a schedule. So that is something that I do want to work on in the future, is actually posting more for you guys and more podcast videos and just more vlogs and stuff in general. I do have some things that I already filmed, I just have to actually edit them and upload them, but it's definitely been an interesting journey. This whole YouTube thing is such a giant learning process, and I'm somebody who believes that you should constantly be learning and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and this is definitely a really good way to do that. So I'm hoping that in the future I can keep making better videos and I can keep making content that interests you guys as an audience and that will make you think and will inspire and encourage you to work on your own writing or other creative projects. And so yeah, thanks for being here with me on this journey, and I am excited, albeit I am still really nervous about, where this could end up going. In today's social media world, if you want to be relevant, if you want the algorithm to show your content, you have to constantly be posting, especially on something like Instagram, or not that I have a TikTok, but I know if you want to be relevant, especially on those platforms, you have to be posting every single day or multiple times a day. That's not something I've ever done before. And the way social media works right now, and the way these companies work, is they want to always have your attention. They want you on the platform as long as possible. And I guess the goal of many people is to have you thinking about them as much as possible, or their brand as much as possible. But I don't want that. Like, I'm not doing this so that I can constantly be in your head and every time you open Instagram or YouTube, I'm there in your face. That's not my goal, and I don't like, I think that's very invasive, and I don't like that mentality. And so I don't feel this need to be somebody who is constantly vying for your attention, that I want you constantly thinking about me and my content, and that you need to be watching me for as long as possible or as much as possible. Like, I actually want you to get off of social media and get rid of your distractions and go out there and create your work, whether that's a piece of art or your next book or the next opera or whatever it is. I think that we should all be spending more time working on the things that are actually going to make us feel alive and that are going to truly bring some value to our lives and to the world. And that's not doom scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or watching YouTube videos for 12 hours a day. That's not how we're going to end up living the kind of life that we should be living. And so it's kind of like imposter syndrome, something that I feel, if I'm doing YouTube, then I'm not doing something more important or more valid. So for example, writing my books, the time I take to set up videos, create ideas, film them, edit them, it takes a lot of time. There is a quote by the author Philip Pullman, or it was a response that he gave into an article that somebody was writing about writing advice. And he said, "My main rule is to say no to things like this, which tempt me away from my proper work." And I really resonated with that because to me, this is maybe a horrible thing to say, but to me, YouTube doesn't really feel legitimate, or maybe it doesn't for me because I don't make any money off of it. It's something that I do as a hobby, for fun on the side. And I guess content creation, in a way, in my head, for whatever reason, isn't still yet seen as like a legitimate career, let's say. Or I worry that other people don't see it that way, despite the fact that obviously there are plenty of content creators who make money doing this and have been very successful. It feels like something a writer wouldn't do. Like, I know that's probably the completely wrong thing to say. The most famous writers even now of our time who have access to social media, they're not going on YouTube and making YouTube videos. Like, okay, Brandon Sanderson, I guess he's a pretty popular writer on YouTube. He filmed his lectures, and now he does he have a podcast? I can't remember, but he is making some stuff on YouTube. But I guess it doesn't feel legitimate to me when I think about that. All the popular authors like J.K. Rowling and, let's say, Nora Roberts and Joyce Carol Oates and all of these people, they didn't do anything like this. Now, of course, some writers, having started decades ago, they didn't even have access to the internet. Didn't even wasn't even accessible at the time, so they had to make do with what they had, and that was, I guess, solely writing and really hoping that they could then get a publishing contract and make their success that way. So in a way, we're lucky that we can use social media to our advantage, but I guess because I have no one else to learn from, really, who's been wildly successful and has done this at the same time, it doesn't feel like something a real writer would do. I think to myself, would Kafka ever have had like an Instagram or a YouTube channel if he had had access to it? Or would Plato or Socrates, if they had the internet, use it? I mean, Socrates went out into the public square and just talked to people. I guess that was about as, public and in your face and social media like as it could get. So it's just like, would they do the same thing now if they had that access? But I do, at the end of the day, enjoy doing this, and so I'm gonna keep going with it, and whatever happens, happens. I'm not really sure where this is gonna go, but I do have a lot of interesting ideas planned out, and I want to try some new things that I've never done before. I need to learn how to do them first, but I'm hoping that perhaps I can venture into some other areas as well, and continue to talk about writing and share the joy and love and misery of this craft and of being an artist in general. So again, to those of you who have stuck around and subscribed, commented, liked, shared, it really means so much to me that you find value in the content that I've created so far, and I hope that you will continue to stick around. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video and if you like this channel, you already know what to do. See ya!